This is the FM Gold channel of All India Radio. In the program News Analysis, we now bring you a discussion on Heart of Asia Conference and Peace and Prosperity in South Asia. The participants are Ashok Sajjanhar, former diplomat, and Kamar Aga, journalist.
Heart of Asia Ministerial Conference promotes regional stability, security in Central Asia and South Asia. The conference also brings greater regional representatives from both private sector as well as public sector, discuss issues of development in war-torn Afghanistan. It was established in 2011 to promote a platform to discuss regional issues, particularly encouraging security, political and economic cooperation among Afghanistan and its neighbor. Ambassador Sajjanhar, what do you think about this conference? How important it is?
It's a very important place at which all regional countries get together. As you have very rightly said, that this was launched in 2011 and it's also known as the Heart of Asia Istanbul process because the initiative was taken by Turkey to begin with. And the thought was that since the US armed forces, the NATO forces and other forces from the Western countries, they were soon going to be leaving Afghanistan. So to provide the stability, security, prosperity in Afghanistan, it is the responsibility of the regional countries to get involved, to get engaged, and to ensure that there is no terrorism and Taliban again does not come up there. So it was started in 2011. This is the 6th ministerial meeting, and there are 14 member countries of this Heart of Asia conference. And it fulfills a very important purpose and a very important role in promoting development and stability and security in Afghanistan.
The special emphasis of this conference is education, how to spread, particularly in Afghanistan, disaster management, drug trafficking, terrorism and counter-terrorism measures. And besides this connectivity of Afghanistan, especially the South Asia with Central Asia. So what do you think about this?
You've touched on very significant aspects of what needs to be done because once by and large the NATO forces have left, the ISAF forces have left. So the first challenge that confronts the regional countries and the international community is to provide security and safety in that region. And that is why, and the biggest challenge in fulfilling this is confronting terrorism. So all the countries have to get together and taking concrete and concerted action against terrorism is one of the important aspects. Then if we want to promote peace, then economic development is a sine qua non. It is an absolute essential requirement that there should be economic development and there should be economic growth. People should have jobs. So that is also a focus. And if we are going to focus on economic development, then education and skill development are other areas. Drugs is an issue, this region and particularly Afghanistan, that it has been confronting for a long time. So dealing with the scourge of drugs, of cultivation of poppy and its processing, that is another area that needs very active consideration. And last but definitely not the least is the issue of connectivity. And I think in that sense, the choice of Amritsar as the venue of this conference is very, very powerful and very, very symbolic because Pakistan does not provide connectivity either by rail or by road from Afghanistan to India or from India to Afghanistan and the Central Asian countries. So hosting the conference there rather than in Delhi.
Just on the border.
Just on the border, yes. I think it sends out a very loud and clear and strong message that if we want to promote stability, security, prosperity in Afghanistan, connectivity is very essential.
The conference also emphasizes greater inter-regional cooperation. Issues like the Asian Development Bank, Central Asia, the Regional Economic Cooperation Program, which is working on a cross-border transport agreement between Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan and Afghanistan, then Afghanistan-Pakistan Transit Trade Agreement, then Black Sea Corridor Initiative, and Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan India pipeline project which is going on. Then Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, number of projects we are seeing. So if you look at, besides this, the most important is Chabahar port, which India is developing in Iran, which would connect Afghanistan with Central Asia, and besides this, India is also wants rail connectivity of Afghanistan to Chabahar, and from Chabahar onwards to Central Iran and Central Asia up to Russia and Eastern Europe. So these are very important projects. India has already built Dalaram-Darans road, which is connecting it to Central Asia and Iran. India has done a lot of work on connectivity of Afghanistan with Iran and Central Asia. What do you think about this? How important would be an alternate route which India is developing?
Connectivity, of course, is very important, and it's extremely significant because Afghanistan is a landlocked state. And it is a landlocked state in a manner that, as we were discussing earlier, that its major neighbor, that is Pakistan, that refuses to allow it access, to allow it connectivity with India. And India has been its big market. India is a growing economy. India is the largest, fastest growing economy at this time. So if there was connectivity between Afghanistan and India, that would help greatly in the economic growth of Afghanistan. And by denying that to Afghanistan, of course, Pakistan is doing a great disservice to it. Afghanistan is, of course, connecting all the ones that you have mentioned, whether it is with Iran, with Pakistan, also with the Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India pipeline. I think there is great potential if we can ensure security of the pipeline both through Afghanistan and Pakistan. Those who have studied this project, they feel that while it would be possible to have a security of this pipeline in Afghanistan, the same cannot maybe said with the same confidence when it comes through Pakistan. Because at the moment also, what I understand is that gas is being supplied from Turkmenistan, which is the fourth largest reserves of gas in the world. It's being supplied to Afghanistan for the last more than 10 years. And when people in Afghanistan realize and recognize that it is for their own benefit and advantage, they ensure that its security is maintained. So similarly, they are quite confident that if TAPI were to come, then at least through Afghanistan there would be no problem. But Pakistan still continues to be a big question mark, not only because of terrorists which are active in that area, but also because of the views of the Pakistan Army and ISI, where as far as the transportation of these gases to India is concerned. Coming now to Chabahar, again, I think it is not only an economic project, it is also a very geostrategic project because it will help India to link through Iran with Afghanistan and Central Asia. So I think that is going to be a very important element of this project. Very recently, we have also seen that there has been direct rail link that has been established from Kazakhstan, from the western coast part of Kazakhstan, through Turkmenistan to Iran. And that can come down up to the Chabahar and to Bandar Abbas. And from there, direct cargo can go up to these three Central Asian states and above to Russia also. This could be a part of what is known as the International North-South Transport Corridor. And with that also, what I understand, that cargo has already started moving. And it is in the initial stages, but of course this needs to be taken up in a much more serious and a much more proactive manner. All the concerned governments have expressed their great seriousness in taking it forward. What this INSTC, the International North-South Transport Corridor, was started in 1996. So what I'm told is what progress took place over the last 18 years from 1996 to 2014, more progress has taken place on this in taking it forward over the last 2 years than in the whole period. Similarly on Chabahar also.
This year's conference theme is basically is addressing challenges, achieving prosperity, and it will discuss peace, cooperation and economic development. And the conference was inaugurated by the President Ashraf Ghani and Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi. Prime Minister has called on this occasion the resolute action, not just forces of terrorism, but also against those who support, shelter, train, finance, which means terrorists in these countries. He's given a very clear and very powerful message to all those countries, and especially the one, our neighbor, that they should stop encouraging or supporting militancy across the border, which is coming to us as well as in Afghanistan, which is the main source of trouble in Afghanistan and which is now engulfing the whole of Central Asia and South Asia, we have seen.
His comments are absolutely spot on, very direct. And I think Prime Minister Modi needs to be commended that he has not brought in an India-Pakistan angle, because that could have had some other ramifications. But he has kept it focused completely on Afghanistan, and he has said that merely voices of support for Afghanistan against the forces of terror are not enough. What we really need to do now is resolute action. And if you would see, this has been fully corroborated, also fully supported by President Ghani, who, while thanking Pakistan for the offer of an aid of $500 million, has said that it would be much better if this aid were to be utilized within Pakistan to stop the forces of terror. Because once terrorism stops from Pakistan, then only there is hope for economic development and economic growth. And I think everyone is aware that Taliban is being supported by Pakistan, and all other terrorist forces are also being supported by Pakistan. And what the Prime Minister in his statement also very categorically referred to is that we need to demonstrate strong collective will to defeat terror networks that cause bloodshed and spread fear. So it is a loud, clear, direct call to act against terrorism, and everyone knows where terrorism in Afghanistan is emanating from. It is not India which has said it. It is the Afghan president himself who has said it, that terrorism is coming from Pakistan, and if this were to stop, then of course...
You are rightly said, not only the Afghan president, but also the Bangladesh Prime Minister and number of officials in Bangladesh have also accused Pakistan for harboring militants and sending them across to Bangladesh. That was one of the reasons why SAARC conference could not take place in Pakistan, because a number of countries, including Nepal and Bhutan, refused to participate. Besides this, India's Prime Minister has said that India's commitment to our brave Afghan brothers and sisters is absolute unwavering. He has also mentioned wholehearted support to the people of Afghanistan in their effort of reconstruction of that country. He has also reaffirmed the commitment of the international communities to durable peace, stability in Afghanistan, and he mainly focused on advancing critical unfinished mission to help Afghanistan. He asked the delegates to demonstrate a strong collective will to defeat terror networks that cause the bloodshed and spread fear in that country. Specifically, very categorically, he made it clear that this menace of terrorism should be stopped at any cost.
India, on its part, has been extremely supportive of Afghanistan. If you would see that to fight terrorism, we had earlier given them 3 military attack helicopters, Mi-25, which of course stood them in very good stead when the Taliban had gone and captured Kunduz in the north of the country for some time. Very recently, just before the start of this conference, the 4th Mi-25 military attack helicopter has also been given. So India has given more than $2 billion of aid, whether it is in the social sector or it is in the military sector or it is in training or infrastructure. So India has been doing it, and now the Prime Minister through this conference has exhorted the international community to stand together to support Afghanistan in its fight against terror and in its quest for development and prosperity of its people.
Thank you, Ambassador Sajnath.
Thank you very much.
You were listening to a discussion on Heart of Asia Conference and Peace and Prosperity in South Asia. The participants were Ashok Sajjanhar, former diplomat, and Kamar Aga, journalist. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. This program is also available on our website newsonair.nic.in. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsdtalks@gmail.com.